My name is Jembola Olabisi.
I am Arinze and I'm saying no to child soldiering.
Hi everyone, I'm Abasade Eniton Sonny.
My name is Badamosi Aderonke Oluwatosi.
NAPTIP CDS, say no to human trafficking.
Hello Nigeria, my name is Feve Bogon from the NAPTIP Group CDS, NYSC, which means National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. Human trafficking is the forceful intentional violation of human rights. And in this video, I'll be talking about domestic servitude, which is one of the forms of human trafficking. First, what is servitude? Servitude is the state of being a slave to someone higher than you. Now, what happens in domestic servitude? This is the situation whereby a particular person is made to work as an help or a nanny in the home, and eventually is subjected to maltreatment, violation of privacy, restriction of movement. They are physically, sexually abused, verbally abused. They are given little or no pay. Now, one of the causes of this human trafficking or domestic servitude is one, lack of immigration status. Why they can't report? One, because their immigration status is usually illegal. Yeah, so they can't report. Why? Because of fear of being deported or jailed. Two, they lack the awareness of their rights. They don't know the rights that they actually have. Three, no work contract. It's just verbal. No written, no signed document, nothing. Four, they don't know the authorities to report to. They don't have the complaint mechanisms to actually report these acts of maltreatment to.
Hi, my name is Arinze Hemidu, and I'll be talking about child soldiering. Child soldiering is a form of human trafficking which has to do with recruiting minors into armed forces, to become spies, to become messengers, to become fighters, cooks, etc. And this act is carried out by a state or a non-state armed group. So when we talk about recruitment, we have two forms. It's either voluntary or it's forceful. So let's talk about the forceful part of it. So the forceful part has to do with abduction. Okay, so basically a group of people get into somewhere and they grab a set of children. So these people basically have been abducted to do things that they don't want to do on a normal day. Okay, so we have voluntary recruitment. This is basically when a child says that, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to go into the armed forces. I want to go and fight. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then we have the forceful recruitment, whereby the child or the children are abducted by a group of people to forcefully do things that they don't want to do. So now, what are the effects and causes of child soldiering? So one of the effects, or the effect we have, is trauma. So we all know that trauma is something that no one wants to go through. So when a child is traumatized, he sees life from a different perspective entirely. When a child is traumatized, he thinks differently, he behaves differently, and that is really not a good experience for anyone at all. Another cause we have poverty, we have war, we have bad relationship between the parents and the children.
Good morning, Nigeria. I am Olabisi Jembola. I'm here to talk about labor exploitation. Labor exploitation simply means forced labor, and this means all work or service exerted from someone under the menace of penalty, which is not offered by the person voluntarily. This can be seen in the condition of work that some people are subjected to. For example, let us use the migrants as an example. The element they use for them is coercion and deception. They deceive them and coerce them to come to Nigeria or to go to any other part of the country which is not their country to work, giving them some job descriptions based on some terms and agreements and the pay they are going to be receiving. But when they get there, they found out that they are not going to be paid that. Now they subject them to some things that they are not prepared for. The first thing they do is that they threaten them, they seize their means of identification and seize their passports. They make them do works that they are not prepared for. Sometimes they are underpaid and sometimes they are not paid at all. They dictate when to leave the country or not, and they confine them to a particular area, or they restrict their movement. But this is an example of forced labor. Another one that we can see happens around us, where some girls, the girl child or the male child, is being coerced to go and work somewhere, and when they go there, they see that the work that was stated to be done is not what they need. And when they get there, they are being subjected to do all kinds of work. For the female, they might be subjected to doing prostitution. Some might even be threatened to have sex. Some might even have sex with them, cover them, and threaten to release the video if they do not agree with whatever they ask them to do. This also is an example of forced labor. Another one that we see is even our own citizens underpaying us or subjecting us to a low or poor working conditions in the organizations. And because there is no voice, nobody to talk about it, they keep doing this. Another one is the beer parlor issue. It is so unfortunate that some mothers, even they lure their children to helping them in the beer parlor to attend to customers who treat them anyhow, who touches some sensitive parts of their body, and whenever the girl child or the boy child tries to fight or voice out what he or she does not like about the job, the mother still says, "Oh, don't you want me to sell? Is this how you want to chase my customers away?" This is so annoying and it is appalling. This is another example of forced labor. Another one is family member. Some core members would want, at the pretense of, "Oh, I have this person as my family, I want to work with them at the organization," so that they can actually have their clearance paper signed. And at the end of the day, they find out that because they are not working in a company, just because of the signature that the person wants to append on their clearance paper, they subject them to working long hours as a maid in their house, taking care of everything, and they wouldn't be paid.
Hi everyone, I'm Ambassador Sonin. I'm here to talk about sexual exploitation. Sexual exploitation is an act committed through non-consensual abuse or exploitation of other person's sexuality for the purpose of personal gain, monetary gain, or other non-legitimate purpose. Now, sexual exploitation comes with different practices. It might come as a rape, whereby the victim is being enforced or overpowered by force or fear or any other condition. Now, sexual exploitation is mainly seen in children or teenagers below the age of 18. Now, according to research, sexual exploitation has been rampant amongst women. Research says that 72% of victims are women. It can be for both male and for female, but 70% of the victims are women. Now, what are the causes of sexual exploitation? It can be caused by poverty, sexual inequalities, gender, mental and physical disability, forceful marriage, cultural belief, death of parent or guardian. Now, who are those that are involved in sexual exploitation? We have the armed forcemen, we have staff or teachers of an institution. We have people that have a sex industry and so on. Now, what is the effect of sexual exploitation? You should know that sexual exploitation has both the physical and the emotional effects. Now, how can we prevent sexual exploitation? It can be prevented by teaching our child and people around us about sex education. When a child has access to education, when a child is being given boldness to speak, when he or she is being abused sexually. So you and I, you will agree with me that sexual exploitation is it should not be for anyone. It's not meant for anyone. So how can you help us? You can help by joining hands with NAPTIP agency, which is set by the government to control human trafficking at large.
Say no to human trafficking.
Say no to domestic servitude.
Because it can be happening to anybody around, even in your country, it can happen. So please, if you see something, say something.
Say no to sexual exploitation.
Hi, Badamosi Aderonke. I am saying no to child abuse.
Please, if you see something, say something.
I am Arinze, and I'm saying no to child sojourning.
Say no to human trafficking.
Hi, Ifako-Ijaiye. say no to domestic servitude. Thank you.